huge thank you to both the Ringeisen and the Dillon families for putting this wedding together. You made it all possible. We're all so happy to be a part of it, and thank you so much for sharing it with us. So thank you so much. Alex goes back a long way with a lot of these people, but him and I, visually go back to Small Wonders preschool. And so when he told me that he was going to propose to Laura and that he wanted me to be his best man, I was so proud. So thrilled. Literally my best friend he gave me the greatest token of friendship imaginable. So, the night of the engagement, after Laura and I had what some would call a really intense, dance-off, which I obviously won, I started thinking about this speech, and, it's a pretty intimidating, responsibility for the best man. So I turned to some, friend who's been there forever, for advice, thick and thin, especially during college. So I'm hanging out with Google, and I put this search, and really, I put this search and it goes, how to write a best man speech. And the most awful advice you will ever find on there. The results will shock you. So I get to the first site and it says, all you want to do, it's really just as simple as, telling stories, right? Okay, so the first thing it says, well, just limit vulgarity to a minimum. And I'm thinking, okay, I was going to eliminate vulgarity, but that's a really good start. I could probably use a lot more than that. So, the first thing I think it says, what you have to do is you have to, write down every story and memory that you can't talk about. And then you'll be left with all these fun and appropriate stories for your speech. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but we'll go with it. So after about 3 days and as many notebooks filled with memories later, all I can think about is what I'm not allowed to talk about here. And on top of that, I now have this written record of self-incriminating evidence and memory that were created with Alex. I won't tell you about the food, but not limited to, skinny dipping in Lake Marion, too much fun with fireworks, watching Alex trying to iron at a duck at conference, or on a AWOD camping trip, and making cheesecake. I'm sorry. So this first site was a huge failure, So I go back to Google, and I'm onto the second link. I go to the second site, and it says, well, just tell the story of how the couple first met and why it was love at first sight. I'm like, oh, that's great. Fantastic. But I was trying to think of that story. All I realized was that myself, Joe Barta, and Andy Bodger were all kind of friends with Laura first. So really, Alex just doesn't understand the rules to dibs. And lost, I think is what it is. So that was a failure. So, I go back to Google and I get to the last site. Well, the last site, because I finally found a good one, not because I literally went through it. If you haven't been to Google yet, I really recommend it. So the last one says, well, just tell the story of when you first knew that the couple was in love. And that's just, that story I'll never forget. So it's the summer after junior year of college, and Alex and I are back in Lakeville, and we're in my parents' basement. Now, it's probably about 2 in the morning, because I think we're a couple episodes deep in a 5-episode marathon of Cops at the time. And, things are going great, and all of a sudden, Laura's already back in Madison at this point. And at about this time, Alex gets a call from her. And the call was not going that well. Because the usual, no, I love you, no, you love me, whatever. It was a little bit more intense. And Alex excused himself in the basement to go, pace my driveway on a cell phone in the dark. And a while had passed, and he came back in, and he was obviously upset. I've never seen my friend this out of shape before. And I see the tears kind of in his eyes a little bit. I can see the tears rolling down his face. I can also see the credits rolling down the screen. And I'm thinking, Alex, it's okay. We're going to get through this. We've got 2 episodes left. I think we just broke up. And heartbroken. There's no better word. I was trying to think of words like distraught, dismayed. Absolutely heartbroken. And the reason I feel okay about, telling the story is because, this breakup, which never actually came to fruition, probably lasted all 45 minutes, because by the time the Cops was done, they were back together again. Honestly, in that short period of time, if you could see the raw emotion out of my best friend, it'll stop your heart. It really will. Laura, he was distraught over the idea of losing you. And it was at that point that I knew that Laura was just a little bit more special You know, she wasn't just a friend, she wasn't just a girlfriend, and at that point she became his best friend. And, you know, that's also when I realized that the two were in love. And it's kind of funny because, you know, in that first fight that I was a part of, really, is when I realized how much they loved each other the most. But really, I mean, that just says so much about Laura. I mean, everyone here who knows her knows exactly what I mean. Everyone here who's lucky enough to be friends with Laura is better for it. She's the most caring, the kindest, the most loving, the most gorgeous, beautiful person you'll ever meet. So fun. And I mean, so Alex, you just have to realize how lucky you are to have someone so special. And you can just never take that for granted. I mean, in a million years, you would never find someone so special. And Laura, if you have my best friend right there. I mean, the best friend you will ever ask for. You'll never go wanting. On top of his obvious qualities of being, you know, so intelligent, so funny, really, really good looking. He means so much to me, but he also, you know, he's also the most loyal, the most honest, the most caring friends you'll ever have. And, you know, he'll give all of that to you. He will give you everything he has and more, and the only thing he wants in return is for you to love him. And so love him. Don't take it for granted, you know. A couple hours ago, you both just promised each other that, you know, you'd love each other forever, and I've known you long enough where I know that's not going to be a problem. But the one thing I will say is just don't forget to laugh with each other, because you two are so special and so fun to go out with as a couple, because you have the ability to laugh at yourselves and at each other and make fun of each other, and it doesn't turn into a fight. Instead, it turns into a dance off with other friends. I get it, but it's never changed that. I love it so much. And, I mean, literally, I could go on and on about how much I care about these two and how much they mean to me. First of all, you already know. And, you know, second of all, I can't express with words how I really feel about you guys. But, you know, instead, let's just raise our glasses. Laura and Alex, you are honestly the two best friends I could have ever asked for. And all I hope for you is for as much love and joy as I've given you.